How can this bowl right here of fruit help you become more confident with your podcast? That's good. Stick around, I'm going to go ahead and show you how. Welcome back once again, my friends. My name is Shannon Hernandez, radio broadcaster, podcaster, and podcast producer. And guess where I just came from? The gym! Always the gym. I really can't help myself. And today I want to talk to you about confidence within your podcast. How do you build this confidence with your podcast? I don't think in any of my videos I've really touched on the topic of confidence. Maybe in one of those videos like way back in the day when I was still trying to figure out my own confidence for podcasting, even though I've been in radio for years. It's something that is hard to wrap your mind around when you're trying to become more confident. I just got off a podcast with one of my email subscribers, and we were talking about how to have a voice within social media. And once that podcast does come out, I will definitely share it out. But then it spawned this idea or this concept of confidence because it was part of the conversation that we were having in that podcast. And if I go to my notes here that I write down that are so important to me, I decided to go ahead and I write down some of the things that I think that you should take with take with yourself to your room, to your business meeting, anything when it comes down to confidence, whether you're giving a presentation, whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're doing something like YouTube. It took me forever just to get back up on YouTube and start doing these videos again. So this is something that I'm trying to get myself back into because it can get hard. So today I want to talk to you about 4 key elements in your daily life that can help you become more confident with your podcast. So let's go ahead and start with the very first one. You should actually be showing up, duh. And when I talk about showing up, I'm not just talking about showing up for your podcast and showing up to work and showing up to your girlfriend's house to feed her cat. I'm talking about showing up for yourself. Showing up every day and putting it into your mind that you are going to put something out into the world. And in the case of that podcast that I was talking with this other podcaster, she was telling me or asking me the questions, what is it that people struggle with, or how can people get beyond this whole social media slump? And I just told her, it's about showing up for yourself. You've got to know it in your heart that you're showing up every day, providing value into the marketplace so that they can come back to you and see what your voice is all about. I look like I got no sleep, but let's do number 2. So I just briefly touched on this about showing up every day. So what does it mean to show up every day? Let me get a little bit deeper about this. It means you're showing up in terms of consistency. Doesn't mean that you have to create a podcast and release it every day. No. It means that you have to create that podcast, come up with the ideas every single day. And then when it comes to the time that you have to record, that is the final product to getting that piece of your art out into the marketplace. But it doesn't stop right there. You have to start thinking about the marketing of your podcast. You have to start figuring out, how am I going to get this out to the masses? Which social media platforms are best for my podcast? Which social media platforms do I need to learn to utilize the marketing of my podcast so I can get more ears on my program? Do I need to learn things like audio editing? Do I need to learn how to edit video? Do I need to learn how to be a graphic designer? Do I need to start networking a little bit more? This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about showing up, and showing up with consistency. You do it every single day, and you build a habit. And these habits, they need to be good habits. So it doesn't mean that you're just showing up on social media. It means show up for your life. Wake up every day. Make your bed. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of you out there that don't make your bed, but you should start. Build a positive habit and reinforcement for your brain so that you can rewire how you are executing things for your podcast, how you are executing the marketing, how you are executing the social media. Anything that you are dealing with in your personal life will lead into your business life or your podcast life. So it's better to start these habits from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed, and that's going to include building out your podcast and showing up and finding the guests and doing the research and adjusting the audio. Show up with consistency every day. You know, an example of this is that bowl of fruit that I showed you when I first started the video. If I don't eat my bowl of fruit in the morning, if I'm not giving my body the sustenance every day by feeding my body with the nutrients that it needs, I don't feel good throughout the day. In fact, I mentioned that my eyes look like I hadn't slept. It's true, I hadn't slept. I typically try to get 8 hours of sleep. I build positive habits in order to have the other parts of my life when I'm here in my office and I'm building out brand new ideas that are on my whiteboard. My personal habits bleed into my podcast and business habits. So start building positive reinforcing habits so that you can start leveraging all of the good habits and putting yourself out into the world to build more confidence. That's why I eat fruit. That's why I do exercise every day. It helps me build confidence. I don't do it to lose weight. That's just the byproduct. I do it so I can have more confidence. Let me get a quick bite so I can do number 3. Oh, so good. Okay, number 3. As of this recording, this last Sunday, I went and I had dinner with a friend of mine. Her name is Heather Dobson, and in the social media world, she's kind of known in the Infusionsoft circles and GoDaddy circles because she works at GoDaddy. But we were talking about this concept of impact versus influence. And what Heather had told me was something that I believe wholeheartedly, is that she says, when I go out and I look for people who are going to work with me at GoDaddy, I'm looking for people who are making an impact. Not influence, but an impact. So what I'm talking about with you today is that when you show up every single day and you work on yourself by learning new skills, by eating an appropriate diet that's going to help you perform at the highest functions and levels that you are capable of doing, if you're basically investing in yourself, you are not only making an impact for yourself, but you're making an impact for your audience. So always look towards making an impact for yourself. We all start from the very bottom when it comes to starting out something brand new. And in order to get to the level where you want to be, you have to take these very small baby steps. And you have to find small wins. Just as an example, when I started my workout routine, I know I don't look like wildly buff or anything like that, but I build my core every day. And for me to do any type of sit-up or leg lift or anything of that matter, my core was not strong enough. And my legs and my core and my body would be shaking. But I told myself, I need to do this every day. Even though I was doing it out of a necessity because I had a sciatic nerve problem, I promised myself I would do it every day just so that I can get over the pain, but I can also become a lot more strong. Now where am I? I'm able to do leg lifts with no difficulty at all. I'm able to now do 300 sit-ups. I'm now able to do 200 push-ups. But it started at a very small level. So give yourself the little wins when it comes to starting your podcast and showing up every single day to make an impact on yourself. Because if you're not impacting yourself by becoming better, you're not impacting the world and the people that you want to come along for the ride with. Because if they're not there, you're not there. What? You don't like being in front of the camera? The Lion King. Ah! And finally, take time to take breaks. Breaks are important. I know I talk about showing up every day, making an impact every day, becoming some type of experience for yourself, for everyone else. Make sure that you're treating yourself to breaks, to timeouts, to spending time with your pets. Oh my God, there are so many hairs. Road trips, going out and playing mini golf. Disconnect from these things that we are so tied to, because if you're not disconnecting, you're not finding the balance in life to become more confident. That's what this is all about. When you're becoming more confident, you're showing up, you're staying consistent, you are making an impact for yourself, but you're also giving yourself that time to rest, to renew your reserves, as opposed to just resting because you want to be lazy. So tell me one thing, how do you find your confidence when it comes down to podcasting, doing a video on YouTube, or maybe even going out and networking and meeting new people? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. So don't forget, subscribe, rate, and review down below. And of course, if you want to get started with your own podcast, there is a link down in the description below, a quick start guide to starting your podcast. Click the link and I will help you on over there. But for those of you who are a little more advanced in the podcasting world and you're looking to figure out how exactly can I start monetizing on my podcast, the link is down below and I'll deliver you a free report on how you can make money with your podcast today. Let's get back to eating. Where's your cat? I'll see you next time.